Well, am I excited to be here? I'm not sure if I'm excited to be here because sharing behind the scenes of my journey, sharing all of the breakthroughs, breakdowns, failures, successes, messiness in my journey is always a bit scary. So yeah, I wanted to come on and share honestly and vulnerably because honestly, this is key. And I love that someone's just joined called Dance Streaming with the Ancestors. Wow. I talk so much about our ancestors because our ancestors, in our subconscious mind, we have this body of energy called the ancestral lineage. And if we don't acknowledge the ancestors in our businesses, in our finances, in our desires, in our dreams, in our intentions, then our ancestors will sabotage our progress. Nice to see you, Jen. Super nice to see you. You know, I just wanted to say, first of all, something really important. It's easy to go live and press play and record videos. Didn't used to be easy for me. Like I remember 12 years ago when I was recording my first few videos, I remember how frigging hard it was. I remember recording and then re-recording and re-recording and re-recording so many times. These videos getting so in my own way that I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then help me record a video without making a mistake. And then I went into meditation and this big voice boomed in my head. Jody, it's not about you. It's not about you. And so from that moment onwards, recording videos was really easy and simple because it's not about me and it's not about you. And we make everything about us because our ego loves to make everything about us, and it's not about us. So I want to just say that if you're someone who avoids going live or speaking on camera or video, and please know that this happens at every level of success, then there's something about the stuff that comes up to the surface when you press record. There's something about that stuff that comes up to the surface when you press record. And I want to just talk about the stuff that comes up to the surface when you press record because I know mega famous celebrities who still have the fear when they press record. So what comes up? When you press record, so many things are triggered, right? It's like, there's only a few people watching me live. I used to speak on stage to 10,000 people. What if everyone drops off and I have to work extra hard to keep everybody engaged? Or what if I'm trying to attract in the right people and the right people are just not watching the lives? Or what if I don't get to the point? Or what if I don't say what I want to say? Or what if weird random people watch me and comment weird stuff? There's so much stuff that comes up to the surface when we are pressing play, record. Why is that coming up to the surface? Why is it coming up? What is it there? Why do we hold ourselves back from going live, from broadcasting, from sharing what we want to say? Some of us have this shadow of what we call superiority, which I can recognize in myself, fully calling myself up with this one, is that in my past and see if this resonates, because this is a big one for me to share, and I can feel a lot of resistance sharing this one, but it's good to speak it all out because fuck it. We need to be comfortable. So sometimes when we're at the beginning of our business journey and we know how great we are, as in we know how high quality our programs, services, offerings, everything is, we start to judge ourselves for not being further ahead, for not being as good as we know we can be. And then sometimes, to avoid going into that feeling of not enough, or that feeling of I should be further ahead than I am right now, sometimes we go into this superiority complex. And I'll hold my hand up and say I was there. I'm not ashamed to say it. And that manifests as you disconnecting from certain people, from certain clients, because you're telling yourself that you're way better and much further along the journey, and they don't understand you and they're never going to get you, and la 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 la. And we tie ourselves up in knots. We tie ourselves up in knots. You know, we have to learn how to eat a little bit of humble pie every now and again, right? And so, yeah, there's a lot I want to share with you today. There's a lot I want to share with you. And if you're watching on the replay, so many of you catch the replay. It's so nice. Thank you for all your comments on the replay. Please know that myself, my team, we read everything. So it's really nice. It's our ego. It's always our ego that takes a battering, it's always the ego that gets a bit bruised when we are, I guess, when we're unlocking a new level in our business, right? You know, I guess when we're unlocking a new level in our business and there's such a risk that it's not going to work, or we're going to get rejected. Or I talked about rejection yesterday on the live. If you missed it, go and look in the reel section. You'll see 7 lives, replays. You can go and catch up on all of them. We can be avoiding this rejection. We can be avoiding so many things. So many things. What if no one shows up? What if no one signs up? What if everyone rejects me? What if everyone laughs at my ideas? What if people judge me for being too expensive? You know, come on. We've experienced a lot of that. I've definitely heard all of that. And I've definitely held myself back from being rejected. Rejected and disappointed were the 2 biggest wounds for me. Let's see if they resonate with you. The fear of just being massively disappointed and the fear of being massively rejected. And so as we start to open ourselves up to new levels of success, and the thing is that many of us don't open ourselves up for new levels of success. We very much stay in the same loops, same patterns, same cycles. We're in the same place 3 years later. We haven't moved forwards. And very often it's because we are afraid to expose more of ourselves. And I spoke about this on one of the lives last week, actually. Again, if you missed any of the lives that I've done, everything is saved in the Reels section or the video section of the account. There's so many wounds coming up within women right now to do with exposing our power. And I would love to know, how does it manifest for you? How does it manifest for you? Because for me, one of my biggest, deepest, darkest, most painful fears has most definitely been that if I open up full power, if I open up my full power, my full light, then my husband is gonna not be able to deal with it or handle it and is gonna leave. And I speak about that with a lot of compassion for myself, actually. Because, you know, it's not easy to face this stuff. Many people get triggered when they hear me talk about this stuff because I'm not afraid to do the work at all. Because I know what it takes to get to the next level, the next level, the next level. I know what it takes. I know what it takes. And so I'm doing these lives right now for you, for all of us, for your friends and colleagues. Please tag people if you think it's going to be useful. Let's grow together. But also, I'm doing these lives for me to be vulnerable, because I don't get to show many people this vulnerable side, you know, and it's about time. It's about time, because for the longest time, you know, you'll know me as a money mentor, someone who's helped 100,000 people through money programs, but you haven't known me as the entrepreneur, businesswoman who advises powerful business women behind the scenes. And a lot of my work was always behind the scenes, because it was very high level mentoring in different countries all over the world. Everything's through word of mouth and referral. I don't need to speak about it on here, but I realized that actually I want to. I want to, because for you as a woman in business, it's hard. It's hard because you are programmed to do business like a man. And I was interviewing someone on a podcast yesterday who's an incredible Portuguese entrepreneur with a multiple 7-figure business here, with like 36 stores in Lisbon, 13 in Brazil, 6 in Spain. And we were talking a lot about women in business. And I asked her, you know, from your experience, what does it take to be a woman in business? I know that we've talked about intuition and gut instinct and all those things, but what does it take to actually be a woman in the boardroom that's not a feminist woman, because that's from a wound, different. And it's not a woman behaving like a man, but what does it take to be a woman in business? And I feel we both agreed that we're still figuring this out, because women, we have to heal our wounding. We have to heal our wounding. We've got so much wounding. And so we're in so much protection of we're in deep protection of ourselves, right? If you know, I'm an ambitious woman, right? I've done a lot in my career so far. I'm excited about the next level. I'm building the next level as I speak to you. But my ego is like, I should be here, and I should be this, and I should have this book out, and I should do this, and I should have this magazine, and I should have this podcast. And I'm like, that was once the me. That's the voice in me. That was the drive in me. But now I know that everything has a timing. And I know that actually so much of my journey is looking at my life so far and really just relishing in all the success that I've already had. Because I think that when we leave the corporate world, for example, which I did back in 2012, when we leave the corporate world and we start a business, we sort of tell ourselves that we're starting from scratch in a way. Like we're starting from zero. We're starting from the beginning. And I never, ever subscribed to that, ever. Because I remember framing it as, actually, what I'm doing is like a brand evolution. It's like a brand you know, when brands create subcategories, like let's say when brands do extensions, right? An extension of something. So let's say it would be Kim Kardashian's brand Skims does a collaboration with Giorgio Armani or another fashion designer, you know, Chanel. That would be a brand evolution. That would be like a brand subsidiary, like a brand extension, right? So when I left the corporate world, I was a business director. And this is 2012. I was pretty senior, actually. I was pretty in the top of my game in my team, working directly into like one of the top CEOs in advertising in London. And I remember thinking to myself, do you know what? This isn't I'm starting again from ground zero. This is not that. This is actually a brand extension. And I remember I got into that headspace and it was really tough because I didn't have anything to go into. I just started to build a website, not really sure where I was going or anything. So I had nothing to go into. But that mindset about it being a brand extension ensured that even though the revenue, the income might have dropped a little bit in the beginning, I matched my business director wages pretty quick because I saw it as a brand extension. Now, I'm going to share more in a second. I really just want to pause a second and ask you, send me your questions. DM me your questions. Or drop them in the comments when the live is posted, because I can't see them here on the live. I can't keep tabs of what's being said. DM me your questions, because I'm going to start recording answers to your questions and posting them on here. So I would love you to ask me questions about your business, about what's going on with you. I'm very, very strategic. I can see exactly what is holding you back very quickly. And while I've got some space now, this is probably not going to last. It's probably like I've got some space this month and I'm making the most of it. DM me your questions. I'd love to help you. I love helping smaller businesses as well, boutique businesses. So anyway, I feel that we as women, what we are desperately afraid of is revealing the full shebang, the fullness of who we are, like desperately afraid, because on some level we know when we open up massively, so do our wounds and so do our subconscious fears open up. So I just want to share something that I've been sitting with and see if this resonates. I'm currently gearing up for a massive breakthrough right now. It's going to happen this weekend and then the week after. Huge breakthrough. I launch officially in Dubai and the UAE week commencing the 22nd of September. So I'm gearing up for something huge. I'm also about to acquire another business as well. So there's a lot of really big stuff happening with me at the moment. And it's triggering my deepest fears, my deepest wounds, my, ego that doesn't want to grow, my identity that wants to stay the same. It's triggering a lot. And I realized that, if I didn't learn how to actually go into the pain of my biggest fears and go into imagining if this really happened, how's it going to feel? That would absolutely suck. And just feel it in my heart while simultaneously holding the feelings and the sensations of the absolute polar opposite of that, next level success, next level growth in Dubai, next level this, next level that, while simultaneously holding the emotions and sensations of what if I go to Dubai, nothing works out, no one says yes, no one shows up for me, nothing lands, I don't land, people judge me, they think I'm too out there, whatever. So as women, this might sound a bit complicated, but it's actually really easy. What I teach my clients how to do is to hold the energetics, the energies of both scenarios at the same time, pretty much. So the scenario of like everything's going to mess up and fail, no one's going to talk to me, my power's going to be too much, I'm going to be rejected, while simultaneously getting very used to and comfortable in my nervous system with the feelings and the sensations of, oh my gosh, this is next level success, this is incredible, I've never experienced support like it, abundance at its finest, everything's landing left, right and center, money's flowing in, it's so easy, people are saying yes to work with me, etc. It's that and things like that that many of you are not willing to do. And I'm not fingering you out, pointing the finger at you, sorry. But, you know, it does take a lot of mastery to get to the level of success that I'm at and many other people are at. And you might be at my level of success, who knows? Nice to meet you if you are, and nice to meet you if you're also aspiring and being inspired by everything I'm saying. It's really exciting. But you have to really, really want this. Like, so many of us are not willing to do the work that it takes. We're not willing to hold the pain in our heart of rejection and nothing working out and, you know, everything falling down and, you know, no one coming to see you talk and all that. We're not willing to hold that. And so many of us are not willing to hold massive success in our system either. And it's really interesting. And beautiful woman on my team today came back to me when I said to her, look, here's the thing, because she's growing a portion of the Magnificent Money business right now. I said to her, look, you know, imagine that we take this certification business and it's got 180 people in it. How does that feel? Like, imagine that. Imagine it's like a multiple 7-figure business. How does that feel? And this is just a part of Magnificent Money, the brand. And she was like, amazing. And I said, okay, but what's your biggest fear around this? Might your biggest fear be, but what if I fail? What if Jody and Paul look at me in disappointment? What if I'm not up to the mark? What if I'm not good enough? La la la. I was like, can you hold that information? Can you go into like imagining if that was true? And can you feel that in your heart? While simultaneously feeling the absolute vision of success, which is 180 people in the program, multiple 7-figure business. And she was like, but I already dealt with all of this fear. I already went through it. I experienced it in my life. So why do I need to hold this again? And I said, because what you experienced and what you went through was at your current level. What I'm inviting you into is to feel the fear of the future version of success happening or not happening. And I feel like this is what happens a lot. We can be actually really into coaching, self-development work, making ourselves better, like improving ourselves, but actually we're not doing the work. And I take this very seriously. If you have ever worked with me in the many, many years that I've been doing this work, if you've ever worked with me, if you've ever been to a talk that I have done or an event or at any point in my career, you will know how impeccable my energy is around all of this. You'll know how serious I take this, how much time, how much money, how much dedication, how much energy I invest into myself behind the scenes constantly. You guys don't get to see that, obviously. You just get to see the results of it, you know? So it depends on how much you want it. How much do you want it? How much do you want it? So me, as I said to you, it's going to be a big breakthrough this weekend. Next week's going to be incredible. Probably a lot of integration. Then I'm launching in Dubai, week commencing the 22nd. And I've had to prepare for this, you know? I've had to really go into the feelings of like, what if no one signs up? What if no one wants to participate in the building of this new business that I'm doing? What if Dubai's an absolute flop? While simultaneously holding the energy of the vision, which is like, wow, everyone's saying yes, everyone's signing up. I am so supported. I've got an absolute dream team. Everyone's taking care of me. I can be free and spacious, you know, money's pouring in. Like all of these things that we say that we want out loud, but we actually don't do the work and the due diligence required on a daily, if not hourly basis. You know, I see myself as like an athlete, you know, I really take this seriously. I'm in training all the time, all the time. And I push myself, or I put myself in very uncomfortable situations a lot because I want the breakthroughs. I want the breakthroughs because I want to get to know myself at higher and higher levels. I was thinking last night while I was in bed, I was like, okay, imagine absolute zero thought about money ever. Imagine never thinking about money in any circumstance. Imagine never having to check the bank. Imagine just having loads of money and just being able to say yes to investments and yes to investment opportunities that come through. And some of you actually have been emailing me about investing into your businesses and opportunities. And right now I'm not investing anything because I'm about to acquire this business. So, but in the future I will be. For me, having chunks of money to be able to invest into some of you with your great ideas is like absolutely, I mean, that's going to happen in the next year or so. And I'm super excited about that. But it's like, I need to get to the level where I am so unafraid, and I am unafraid of rejection. I am unafraid of my power. I'm unafraid of people judging me, which I'm pretty much unafraid. I don't really care about anyone judging me. I'm unafraid if no one shows up. That's still a bit of a trigger for me, for sure. I'm unafraid that people think I'm expensive. I don't care how much I don't care what people think about me and how much money I charge, because I know that I've been in this work a long time. I know how transformational my sessions are, so that's not a worry. But I still have stuff going on, and I still have subconscious, unseen stuff that I don't know about yet, that's not going to reveal itself until I'm at a certain level. So all this to say that it never ends. It never ends. It's always there, you know, it's always there. And I appreciate that in the past, I have not necessarily opened up my heart and soul to you. Like I'm not someone who cries on video, because I would prefer to cry in my bedroom. Like I don't have to show you that I'm crying for you to feel that I'm going through something like that. It's not a performance, right? Like it's not that, but it's like, but to be braver and bolder and more vulnerable in sharing my journey is very important to me, because I hope it helps you. I hope it helps you see that me too. I'm also going through this stuff, but it's like I can see very quickly how it can help me rather than how it can pull me down or drag me down. So I just wanted to say that you are someone, because you're watching me now, and I know for a fact, I know that you have a massive energy of expansion in you behind all of this facade and this wall of anxiety or whatever it is you're struggling with right now. There are so many jewels and gifts behind you. I know that this is a moment for you. If you're watching me speak, I've got a very catalytic energy. My energy is very fast. It makes things happen very quick. You just got to plug into me for a half an hour and you'll leave feeling inspired, or you could leave feeling absolutely triggered. And that's also a result. As many of you know, have been following me for a while, being triggered is so healthy. It's so good, because you get to see the parts of you that are not yet healed. You get to see the judgments in you. You get to see the parts of you that need to be looked at, to be transformed, in order for you to unlock even more of your power, that great light in you, that beautiful, beautiful vision. I'm so done with seeing people play small right now, because it's not necessary anymore. Come on, people are putting themselves out there in the public domain and being shot, right? What happened yesterday? Horrendous. So, it's really about us opening ourselves up and being unafraid of showing ourselves, having extraordinary power. Having extraordinary power has been my journey for the past year, is looking at all aspects of my extraordinary power and where I'm still holding back and why I'm still holding back. And what do I need to do to unlock these pieces? What do I need to do to release more of myself into the world? What do I need to not care about? What do I need to not be bothered about? What do I need to not worry about people seeing in me? Like, what is that stuff? And just revealing more of me. What identities need to dissolve? I tell you, one of the hardest identities for me, even though I've talked about money since 2015, many of you have been through my challenges, we've helped a lot of people through those. Speaking about money publicly, very hard for me. Also, speaking about large and large amounts of money, very hard for me. Very hard, but I know why now. I know why, So yeah, it's not necessarily easy. So none of this is easy. Life is not easy, but this is what we signed up for. We signed up for this. I think it's important to realize that our soul, or our highest, deepest sense of self, actually wants to feel what we go through, wants to feel the suffering, wants to feel the struggle. Otherwise we wouldn't be here, would we? We wouldn't have incarnated into a human body with an emotional system. We wouldn't be feeling this stuff. We wouldn't care. So we want to be here. So don't let it drag you down. Don't let the fear stop you, because it's unnecessary. Because how much longer are you going to allow that fear to stop you and hold you back? So I've been on this journey of unveiling my extraordinary power, and it has been really, hard at times. These identities in me that were playing small had to dissolve. The judgments in me had to dissolve. The superiority complex that we all have in some shape or form, that had to dissolve. The part of me that needed money to feel worthy and valuable, that needed to dissolve. The part of me that was waiting for mum and dad's approval, that needed to dissolve. And a lot of what I'm listing out was unconscious, as in I didn't even realize that it was going on, but it's there, right? So all of these identities need to dissolve. I had one because I was so used to, having 16,500 people on these challenges and helping 50,000 people in 1 year and like all of these big numbers. My ego was like, yes, Jody, this is a great story to tell. Keep quoting all the statistics. Yes, 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 yes. And of course, our culture and our society feeds that, make sure that you mention your credentials, make sure that you show the results. And that's wonderful for people that need to know and read a bit more about your success to convince themselves that it's safe to sign up and work with you. But actually, that's great. But do you need that validation to know that you're already valuable? I didn't really need that. I didn't really need to keep telling people that I'd helped 100,000 people, even though I do say it because it's something to be proud of course. But I say it now from a place of clarity and clear and clean energy, rather than from a place of I'm proving myself here, which is what I did do. Of course, we all do this. We all do this. We feel like we need to prove our worthiness to someone, whether it's our parents, whether it's our marriage, whether it is our clients, whether it's our team. We do. And so this year of my journey with extraordinary power has been all about dissolving all of that again and again and again and again. And I said this yesterday, I was with my mentor yesterday, and she was like, Jody, I've never met someone like you who is so impeccable about the way that they do all of the work they need to do before they launch a program or launch a message or start talking about something. She's like, and she works with massive famous people in the coaching industry, let's say. She's like, I've never ever seen it. You literally put yourself through it. Like, it's painful for you. You put yourself through it. I was like, I really do put myself through it. She's like, yeah, because you know that your standards are high, and that when you support women, you know that you need to be your most impeccable version of yourself for them to actually get the transformation that they need. And the thing about my work is it's always been hardcore. And I'm going to be honest about that. This is not like a walk in the park and unicorns and rainbows and surface level stuff and vision boards. Like, that is not this at all. It's not this. We've got a couple of beautiful clients on the call here who have just graduated from our certification program. And so you guys know this is not like surface level stuff. This is like deep work. This is what's needed for your permanent results. Really, like, needed for the permanent result. It's time to dig deep. It's time to dig deep. And so many great results happen when you're in person. And I think that the in-person connection has been so lost, especially during COVID. And I think that when COVID happened, at some point, it was quite convenient for people to then hide behind a camera or hide behind a Zoom. Especially, I also fell into that for sure. The hermit in me wanted to like stay in the apartment and do everything online. But there's nothing like in-person exchanges. So my Extraordinary Power Immersion kicks off with a 48-hour in-person complete identity dissolution. Complete all of the excuses, all of the self-rejection, all the self-judgment, all the fears about money, all the fears about success, all of that dealt with in 2 days. 16 hours of deep work with me, which is crazy. I've never done anything like this before. But this is going to absolutely blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind apart in a good way. In a good way. Because your mind holds you back. So if this feels good for you, the Extraordinary Power Immersion, please DM me with EP. Don't drop it in the comments now because I miss it. There was a few of you that did that yesterday and I'm like, I can't remember who said. But if you're a business owner and you know what it feels like to make 15K in a month, you know, and you want to go above and beyond, or if you're 10K in a month and you want to go above and beyond as well. If you're someone who really is excited to get to know yourself as someone who makes 100K in a month, 100K, imagine 100K in a month, you know, and I'm using financial levels because it's good, it's tangible, people understand it. But really it's about unlocking your levels of power. That's what it's about. So if you're someone who really wants that and you want a 48-hour immersion with me followed by months afterwards of just deep integration work and mentoring with me and my team, and you know, if you want that, then DM me EP, and you can read more about this immersion and see if it's right for you. And if it's not right now, you can put it on your vision board, make it right. Thing is, we're never ready ever. I'm doing a big experience of transformation this weekend. I'm feeling nervous. I wouldn't say I was 100% ready. I would say it feels right somewhere in me, but I don't know what's going to happen. There's no certainty it's going to work out. I'm going completely in the unknown. My mind's being completely reset and reworked. My identity's dissolving. So, you know, who knows who I'm going to be at the end of this weekend. And it's a bit scary for parts of me, but I'm just like, wow, this is going to change my life in such a powerful way, and I cannot imagine who I'm going to be at the end of this. And this is the same vibe as Extraordinary Power Immersion. Yes, 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 yes. Woohoo. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So if you are enjoying my transmissions, if you're liking what you hear, this is the moment. This is the moment to DM me EP, and we can see how to support you in the business to get to the next level. If you don't do it soon, then it's never going to happen. And I have connected with so many beautiful women in the past and worked with them in the past, and I know that many of them are still at the same level now because they're held back by the reality that they've manifested, where they don't have the money to invest to move forwards, or they've made investments into other people that have not worked out, so they don't trust themselves, and they've disconnected from their intuition, or they've had, whatever, everything's happened in their life. They've manifested some very powerful scenarios to go through, but have been completely freaked out by them, and then, disconnected, and so on and so forth. And I see this happening all the time. There's a reason why a very small percentage of women get to experience themselves as millionaires. It's growing now, but I'm definitely on a mission to help that, because it's not even about the money. It's not about the money. I know we make it about the money, but it's about the next step of freedom for you. So I'm expecting like 50 DMs in my DM box from this live, and if you're watching on the replay, telling me that you want to know more about EP, because this is the moment. If not now, are you just going to keep going for another 2 years and stay in the same pattern on repeat? I know that that's most definitely never, ever something that I would do, because I'm an expander. I am someone who grows and grows and grows, because that's who I am in my core. And I know that you're the same. I know that you are the same, because that's why you're watching this now. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening to my transmissions. I'm super excited to keep this going. Remember, when you make an investment into yourself, it's a whole different thing versus watching a free live. They're not comparable. They're not comparable. You need some skin in the game in order to get to that next level and unlock that permanently. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It literally does not work. Convince me that I'm wrong, please feel free, but I will challenge you and say it doesn't work. Doesn't work. Never works. Never works. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for listening, tuning in, for watching. Send me lots of love and luck for my weekend of identity dissolution. And I will see you in the EP Extraordinary Power Immersion 48-hour kickoff, followed by some powerful months of transformation. I will see you there in person with me. There's nothing better than that. And I'm owning that because I know how powerful I am. I've been doing this a long time. Okay, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you. Chat very soon.